righty. Whoops. Nope. Come on. There we go. All righty. And final touches on the system. And there we go. All righty. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Donn, and you're watching Showcase for the week ending Sunday, May 15th, 2022. Stop the presses. This is our Sunday show, and that, of course, means weird headlines and your live chat comments. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscription bell. And as always, if you are with me live, go ahead and drop a comment in the live chat feed, and we might read it off on the air. I guess it's just me flying solo tonight, but I will happily read it off on the air. So let's just go ahead and get started here with, darn it, here we are. I don't know why this thing exited out completely of the browser window that I had set up for the shows tonight, but whatever, it's fine. We're gonna go ahead and roll right into this here. So as usual, we're doing live weird news reactions once again. And here we are. Let's go ahead and get started. There was something I wanted to go ahead and roll with first. Where is it? It's in here. Here it is. This is from the Mirror. So, two-headed snake stuns scientist as it defies the odds to survive for 17 years. 17 years. This blew my mind to take a look at this. I got to go ahead and roll this out first. Hang on one second. Here we go. Come on. Open a new tab. Open a new tab. Work for daddy. There we go. All right. So this is from a British publication, The Mirror. We've cited from them quite frequently on this show, as well as a few other British publications as well. And once again, as per usual, our sources are all listed in the description down below if you want to go ahead and verify some of this stuff for yourself or investigate further. Here's this topic here. A rare two-headed snake is getting ready to mark its 17th year after defying odds of 1 in 100 million to survive. Now measuring 5 feet long, the serpent has stunned scientists after it was first found in 2005 in the U.S. state of Missouri. The black rat snake, which has difficulty swallowing, has defied all expectations by reaching not just adulthood, but its late teens. The predator now lives at the Cape Girardeau Conservation Nature Center. Wow. Wow. Yep, there it is. Holy crap. Now, if I remember right, how the rules of these things generally operate, it's you take off one head and 2 more take its place, but that's usually more along the lines of like referencing Marvel stuff and not really the sort of thing that you would encounter in the animal kingdom necessarily. But this really fascinates me, like just the statistical odds of something like this happening. I mean, like how does that even work? Like, is each head able to independently do that thing where like they have to unhinge their jaw in order to swallow a whole rodent or like whatever they eat? You know what I mean? Like, or how does it sort of like work where like does each head sort of like battle to like swallow the whole rodent, or do they sort of like meet in the middle where it's sort of like a Lady and the Tramp kind of situation where like one head, like each head devours an end of the animal until they sort of like meet in the middle? Is that how that works? I guess they would need more neck room theoretically in order to pull that off, I guess. But here we go. Here's another quote. This is Steve Allain, a council member of the British Herpetological Society and snake expert. He's quoted as saying, "I know of another two-headed snake that survived until it was 20, so it isn't impossible for them to survive that long. However, it's extremely unlikely. I'd say that it's likely 1 in 100 million, end quote." So there you go. Despite some of the challenges of keeping the predator alive, Alex Holmes, a naturalist at the Conservation Center, spoke about its eating habits. Here we are. He said, quote, "A normal snake of their size would be capable of eating full-size mice with ease, but their conjoined spine makes it more difficult to swallow all but very small young mice, which they take thawed from frozen," end quote. Huh, that's interesting. He explained that as each head is competitive when it came to eating, I figured they'd have to cover one at a time with a drinking cup in order to feed each head individually. Wow. So it's a cat dog situation almost, where they share a body, they share a stomach, they share a gastrointestinal system, but there's that bickering competition basically where they have to sort of like treat each head independently on the way to the shared stomach. That's very fascinating to me. Enjoy your meal, those of you who are having dinner right now, presumably on the East Coast. Anyway, so that's that. Two-headed snake. How about that for weird news? Anyway, so here again, we're doing weird news headlines. Like I was saying, it's our Sunday show right now on Weekend Showcase. Thanks so much again for tuning in. Those of you who are with us live on YouTube, or we're also streaming on Instagram at Weekend Showcase. Those of you who prefer to have that visual interface. Let's go ahead and move on. Don't forget to drop comments in either feed. I'll try to keep an eye going in either direction right now. If you want to go ahead and drop a line, feel free. I might read it off on the air. We're going until 7 p.m. on the East Coast, by the way. So, and we have plenty of topics to go. So let's move on into the next thing here. This is again from the Mirror. Humans will have close contact with aliens within years, according to an ex-NASA scientist. All righty. This is a close encounter trying to happen here. Let's see. Speaking on BBC's Hard Talk, Jim Green explained that humans are on the edge of a really astounding discovery, in quotations, really astounding discovery, after expressing his belief that life beyond Earth exists. After working at the U.S. Space Agency for 40 years, Jim reveals that he expects aliens to be discovered within his lifetime. He said that we're making enormous progress and stated we now know there are more planets within our galaxy than there are stars. He said many of them are in places much like the Earth where we can receive the light from the sun and we can have water. And not only in liquid form, frozen form, and vapor form, these are important conditions we believe for life. We are finding planets that have conditions where life may arise. And the quote ends there. With NASA's new James Webb Space Telescope, I think I heard about that recently, boffins, I don't know what that word means, will be able to analyze atmospheres of remote planets from never before seen images that the telescope will produce. Man, so this is interesting. I mean, I don't know where I stand necessarily on the accuracy of the statement that there is intelligent life out there. It stands to reason that some intelligent life exists out there just by virtue of the fact that we exist, even though, you know, depending on who you talk to, there's a debatable sort of consensus on whether or not humanity can consider itself intelligent life in the context of aliens, that we have no idea like the extent to which that life exists, and we don't even know where they would be from. It all gets very messy when you start having serious conversations about the relative smallness of humanity when talking about cosmic existence, you know. But I'd like to think aliens exist. I'd like to think that they are intelligent life, or at least, if not more intelligent than humanity as a whole. And I'm inclined to think that they are really reluctant to visit us anytime soon. We should probably get a few things more carefully sort of fixed about like our planet, you know, like climate change, things like that. I mean, we're making strides, but depending on who you talk to, but I don't want to go into too much of a political conversation along those lines. But where I stand is I think humans are not alone in the universe. I'll just basically leave it at that. We have a comment from YouTube. There must be intelligent alien life. Our tiny speck of a planet can't possibly be the only place for intelligent life. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I mean, it's something that's a little bit idealistic to put out there, but you know, without actual hard evidence anyway, without a close encounter of some kind actually happening, or an astronaut visiting some like moon or another sort of like planet nearby and actually coming up with concrete evidence to support. But we can still be optimistic for now. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. This is from UPI. Idaho man walks with running chainsaw on his chin for world record. An Idaho man with a hobby of breaking Guinness World Records achieved one of his most dangerous titles by walking 206 feet and 8 inches with a powered chainsaw balanced on his chin. Okay. David Rush, who has broken more than 200 Guinness World Records to promote STEM education, as one does, took on the record for farthest distance walked bouncing a powered chainsaw on the chin. Rush said, quote, "I wore a helmet, oh good, gloves, a thick jacket, a neck gaiter, and long pants, but I still felt vulnerable." End quote. I can't imagine why. Guinness World Records set the minimum distance to originate the record at 32.8 feet, and Rush surpassed the goal by walking 206 feet and 8 inches. Wow, that's what you think about. That's well over 6 times the previously set record. That's crazy. Here we go. Here's a YouTube clip attached to this. Let's take a quick look at this. I can't believe we have footage
with this week's Guinness World Records title attempt. I put a lot of stuff on my chin, but nothing comes even close to scaring me as much as a running chainsaw. A running lawnmower, really not so worried about it. If it tips off, the blade is going away from me. Running chainsaw, if it tips off, the blade is right there. This week's attempt is the furthest distance walked with a running chainsaw balanced on the chin. No one has ever successfully completed this one before. Minimum mark was 10 meters. Hey, if you like these videos, hit
because
like
nobody wants to try.
Catch you next time.
If you're crazy enough to even attempt this, you deserve it. You deserve the record.
2, 1, go!
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. One false move. That's it. Oh my god. I can't look away from this. This looks like the sort of thing that you do like when you're like really beyond outside of your mind drunk and lose a bet. But you're compelled to do this anyway before you sober up, because there's no way. I don't believe this. Wow. You caught that. I was half expecting that to hit the track, the running track underneath.
And we'll have to measure the whole thing on camera again.
Is that 4? So 58.6 plus 4.4, 59, 63.
Come on!
Wow. Okay. That's probably the craziest, most unnecessary Guinness record that I've ever seen set. And I've seen a few covering weird news headlines on this channel before, but that kind of takes the cake for craziest and most unnecessary. I'm glad he survived it, but geez, what do y'all think about that? Drop a comment and let us know. Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. This is again from UPI. Sheep fighting its own reflection smashes business window in New Zealand. Okay, let's take a look. Residents of a New Zealand town were surprised to discover the culprit who smashed a business window late at night was an escaped sheep. This was posted on the 9th, 6 days ago. Yeah, not 6-7 days ago. Michael Walsh posted a video to Facebook showing security camera footage from the late night act of vandalism at a business in Onehunga, Onehunga. Looks like Onehunga. I doubt it's pronounced that way, but it's a suburb of Auckland in New Zealand. The video shows the sheep repeatedly attacking its own reflection in the business window until its third headbutt shatters the glass. Here's a quote, "Yet another ram raid last night. It's really getting out of hand." Wow, there's that much precedent for something like this that, oh man, the video isn't loading up. But I was about to say, there's that much precedent for this that you're going to post this on Facebook with the context, "yet another." Like, that's really unsettling that the indigenous wildlife apparently has that much of a habit to it that you can set up a Ring doorbell or whatever to it, record it, post it online with a context that implies this happens way too often as it is. Like, we can't pull up the video here, unfortunately, but we have the link to this story in the description down below if you want to open up a new tab and check that out at a later time. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's just on its face crazy. Let's move on to the next thing. This is again from UPI. Passenger takes over and lands plane in South Florida after pilot incapacitated. Goodness. All right, let's take a look at that. Oh, by the way, we have a YouTube comment. I guess this is regarding the chainsaw guy. He wore long pants. Wouldn't have done much good if that saw got a leg. Yeah, you don't say. Anyway, let's move on. Passenger takes over, lands plane in South Florida after pilot incapacitated. This is posted on UPI about 4 days ago, May 11. There's a YouTube video attached to this. Let's skip where I read the text and just let the YouTube video describe everything. Here we are.
First at 11, new exclusive video just into our newsroom minutes ago. Our clearest picture yet of the landing. Pulled off by that passenger with absolutely no flight experience who grabbed the controls and landed the plane in West Palm Beach when the pilot had a medical emergency mid-flight over the ocean.
Incredible.
Wow.
Tonight, for the first time, you will hear from the air traffic controller who made it all possible. Good evening. I'm Felicia Rodriguez.
Todd McDermott, thanks for
Is nothing short of phenomenal.
I'm trying to skip ahead a little bit.
Think of a plane. You just witnessed a couple passengers land that plane. That voice is air traffic control at Palm Beach International Airport.
Did you say the passengers landed the airplane? That's correct. Oh my gosh, yeah, no, great job.
Great job doesn't begin to describe this. The landing of this Cessna Caravan comes at 12:30 Tuesday afternoon at PBIA. But let's rewind a little to when the person on board this plane first radioed air traffic control in Fort Pierce.
I've got a serious situation here. My pilot has gone incoherent. I have no idea how to fly the airplane.
Roger, what's your position?
I have no idea. I can see the coast of Florida in front of me, and I have no idea.
Maintain wings level and just try to follow the coast, either north or southbound. We're trying to locate you.
Oh my
4 minutes
goodness.
later.
You guys located me yet? I can't even get my nav screen to turn on. It has all the information on it. You guys got any ideas on that?
Eventually, radar locates the plane just off the coast of Boca Raton, and that's where air traffic control at PBIA takes over, talking the passenger through an incredibly safe landing.
This is the first time I've ever heard of one of these being landed by somebody who has no aeronautical experience.
Aviation expert John Nance says it's not the first time he's heard of a passenger landing a plane, but it is the first time for a plane as large and as complicated as the Caravan.
The person on the airplane who had no aeronautical experience listened very carefully and obviously followed instructions with great calm. That's what made the difference.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and skip the rest of this, but that was crazy to see. That almost reminds me of like part of me wants to go ahead and like make a reference to like that, what was it? I think it was Jerry Zucker made an airplane, right? Leslie Nielsen walking into the cockpit. I just want to tell you both, good luck. We're all counting on you. Like that sort of thing. Because like that whole climax of that first movie was basically about like the one passenger and the stewardess were in the cockpit trying to land the plane when everybody had like had fish for dinner, and like food poisoning took out the whole like pilot and the co-pilots and everything like that. So it was down to a passenger to do that. This is real though. This is not a joke. And holy crap, like kudos, props to the passengers for pulling that out, man. That's crazy. Let's move on to the next topic. This is again from UPI. Wildlife groups warn of drunk deer in France. How do you have drunk deer? This is odd. Hang on. Wildlife experts in the Normandy region of France are warning members of the public to beware of an unusual problem: drunk deer running amok. The 30 Million Friends Foundation, a French animal rescue group, said deer in Normandy have been known to overindulge this time of year on spring buds that are loaded with sugar that ferments in the animals' stomachs. Oh, that's interesting. Making them drunk in the same way as if they had consumed alcohol. Or like lots and lots of poppy seeds, maybe. I don't know. I think that's how that works. Because like either way, like when you get hit with a breathalyzer or something, they did a joke on Rick and Morty about that. I don't know that that's actually how that works. But anyway, I think it was the one where it was the start of the second season on Rick and Morty where they made a reference to that, like poppy seeds getting you drunk to where like when you get stopped by law enforcement behind the wheel, that's going to be a problem for you. Anyway, here's okay. Then the rest of the story. Association. Oh, let me try and pronounce this right. Association pour la protection des animaux sauvages. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but that's my best attempt at French there. The acronym is ASPAS. They warned hikers and drivers to be aware of potential encounters with intoxicated deer. The group warned members of the public to keep a safe distance from any deer that appear to be acting strangely. What does that mean? Like how would a deer act drunk? Like they're like stumbling across the road. Yeah, man, I was drinking from this watering hole and I was like, whoa, who's that deer down there? It was like me, but it was like not me. Man, whoa. Like, I don't know. That's the best I got for that. I fell asleep that day in improv class, so that's the best I got right now. But anyway, firefighters in Rouen, Rouen, rescued a deer May 3rd that fell into the Seine River Seine, Seine River, while apparently intoxicated, and rescuers were recently called to rescue a deer in Vernon that was found in an intoxicated state in a garden near the town center. Wow. Okay, so like walking, how do they do that? They have the deer sort of walk in a straight line, touch your hoof to your snout. I don't know. That's crazy. I can't imagine what I would do if I like came across like a deer that was just stumbling around like that, but I would still expect him to be lucid enough to get out of the road so I don't like hit him or something like that, you know. or more importantly, some other driver who's not as attentive behind the wheel hits the poor deer. I mean, geez, like who else is going to raise Bambi? You know what I mean? It's unfortunate. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Next topic. Thanks again, those of you at home who are tuning in and listening to this over YouTube or live on Instagram at Weekend Showcase or on the podcast. We're also publishing an audio version of this on our podcast, available at anchor.fm/Weekend Showcase or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for downloading and listening there too. Let's move on. Next item on the agenda is from ladbible.com, ladbible.com. I don't know. Balenciaga is selling these limited edition shoes for a whopping $2,700. Okay. Judging by these pictures, I would humbly beg to differ that they are not, in fact, worth $2,700. Here we are. The luxury label Balenciaga has just unveiled its new limited edition distressed kicks. Distressed. Oh my God. And they look oddly like those manky old Converse you drew on with permanent markers back in high school. However, these bad boys will set you back an eye-watering $1,850 American. Keep in mind that this is the brand that brought us heeled Crocs and platform Crocs, pointy rain boots. Basically, they just really love a weird shoe or they're laughing at us. It's hard to tell. Okay, come on now. Come on. What is the deal with this? Like, if you're going to go ahead and fork down that kind of money on like shoes, let alone intending to fork down money on these specific shoes because it's a brand, you're really buying the brand more than the shoes. Like, at least get something that looks like it's worth a mortgage payment. You know what I mean? Like, why in the world, why would anybody validate that price tag by putting that kind of money down on this? I can't imagine anybody in their right mind supporting a brand, any brand, enough to justify shoes that look like this, everyone. All right. Whoops. Here we are. Shoes that look like this with a well into four-figure price tag. That's crazy to me. This isn't weird so much as crazy, like certifiable. The extra destroyed kicks are available in black and white. Oh, joy. And the luxury brand says it will only sell 100 pairs of these limited edition sneakers. Oh, well, naturally, it has to have a limited quantity while supplies last, or I guess while dumpsters last. And the story says, depending on how you look at it, is that a bad thing? Okay. If the aftermath of zombie apocalypse in shoe form isn't your style, you can get the same shoe without all the marks and tears for slightly less. But that doesn't mean people on social media didn't have some points to raise. One Twitter user said, quote, Balenciaga is releasing a new pair of shoes, and I had to assume they're just trolling people at this point, end quote. You don't say. A second user wrote, quote, Balenciaga has got to be running a social experiment to see who's dumb enough to spend money on the ugliest expletive deleted ever made, end quote. Yeah, I gotta agree with both comments there. We have a comment on YouTube as well. Oh, that is ridiculous. Somebody commit me if I ever spend that kind of money on shoes that look like worn out trash. And that's being generous. That's being generous. Like it's the worn out, like trash shoes would probably be like the final destination after having been put through a serious ringer on the way to the trash bin. I mean, just judging by the looks of these pictures here, we should move on. Let's move on to the next item on the docket here. We have a topic now from Fox News. U-Haul driver in Washington packs car into moving van, gets pulled over. How do you even do that? Hang on a second. Oh, wow. All right, hang on a second. I got hit with a little pop-up ad here. There we are. Okay. So a Washington state trooper made a surprising discovery jammed inside the back of a U-Haul truck during a traffic stop earlier this week. Okanogan trooper Cunningham pulled over a driver. I don't know what that is. Hang on a second. It's broadcasting in the background. Oh, sorry. This video is doing something here. Come on. Come on. Okay, that's not doing it. Sorry, everybody. This thing is broadcasting audio in a way that it shouldn't be. There we go. I have to manually sort of turn that audio off. Anyway, Trooper Cunningham pulled over a driver hauling a car that was partially hanging out the back of the truck on Highway 97 north of Okanogan. Washington State Patrol Trooper John Bryant tweeted Monday. Yeah, that, wow. Photos of the unusual scene show that a single packing strap was securing the car inside the back of the truck. What? 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 The driver, who wasn't identified, was cited for failing to secure a load and fined $139. Since the driver didn't have a valid license either, and the rented U-Haul was overdue for return, both vehicles were impounded, according to the station. Wow. Okay. And it looks like, okay, I can see if I can run this further a little bit. Okay. I don't know if y'all can tell on the YouTube side, but this is the strap that was used to secure the vehicle. It looks like it's going around the front of the vehicle as well. So somehow, like, the whole strap went underneath the entire U-Haul truck, up the windshield, up the front of the vehicle, all the way over the top, and secured in the back. After this vehicle was able to sort of get loaded into this truck that has surprisingly well balanced tires here. Those tires look like they're like about the same width, basically, slightly larger hubcaps, but good grief, imagine the air pressure that's being sort of like put on those tires, not to mention the strain on the suspension of the U-Haul truck. I mean, wow, that's bizarre. That's bizarre to me that they were able to actually like move that at all. I'm just surprised by that. Anyway, so we're coming up on 6:30 right now on the East Coast, 3:30 on the West Coast. Time zones. Let's go ahead and move on to the next item here. We're about halfway through the docket. Here we are. Next item is from UPI. Rhode Island waitress surprised with $810 tip on a $48.17 bill. Wow, somebody made some excellent customer service right there to warrant that. Let's see. Wow. Yep. So a Rhode Island waitress said a stressful morning turned into an awesome day when a pair of customers left her an $810 tip on a $48.17 bill. Jennifer Vernencio, a North Providence resident who has worked at the Big Cheese and Pub in Cranston for about 3.5 years, said one recent day began with a string of extra stresses when she couldn't find a sitter for her 3-year-old son. Quote, I was having a terrible morning. I couldn't find a sitter. There was a kid at daycare that was sick, so I couldn't bring my son. I was supposed to be in at 11. They told me to come in when I have a sitter. So my daughter was available after school. That's when I came in, end quote. Renancio left the boy with her 16-year-old daughter and came into work where her day soon turned around. Quote, my first table of the day was a super, super nice gentleman and his wife. Stressful morning ended up being an awesome day, end quote. She said the couple ordered some sandwiches and left after paying their $48.17 bill, $48.17. She said, quote, the gentleman looked over his shoulder and said to have a nice day. I said, you too. I go over to pick up the check. I don't even know. They left me an $810 tip. I'm like, are you kidding? This can't be. I brought it to my manager. And at first I'm like, this can't be. She's like, oh no, that's it, end quote. Fernancio said she did not get the couple's names, but she will always remember their generosity. And Fernancio also said, quote, to the gentleman and his wife that left that generous tip, I just want to say thank you so much. It meant a lot. The money is very much appreciated. It helps out no matter what. However, the kindness behind it and making my day from going a little hectic to that kind of a tip made me smile the rest of the day, end quote. Yeah. I mean, you know, this is one of those things where I resonate with this. I used to work as a waiter. God, this goes back a ways. This had to have been like 2008. I want to say it was. No, 2009. It was like tail end of 2009 for a few months. The diner I used to work at doesn't exist anymore, but I was there for a couple months, and man, that taught me a lot about what it takes to handle food service. You know, when you're basically especially when you're working for tips, you know, when you're a waiter, you know, it's one of those things that really kind of, it's easy to sort of like not really think too much about what goes into doing that job, let alone being really good at that job, knowing you're not going to be making very much money at that job unless you're really that good at it and you get really lucky about what tables you wind up servicing. I mean, it's something that it's good to be reminded of from time to time. I mean, when you go out and you're being served by somebody who's like not getting paid very well usually, to work in that capacity, you know the right percentages to tip, and as generously as you can comfortably afford. But like, you know, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what what that person is going through in their personal life, or what they're going on in the context of the rest of whatever they have to do to keep up whatever their livelihood is. Their this one job that they have, which, like, in all likelihood, is not their only job. So yeah, this definitely is a shout out to the people in the food service industry, and waiters and waitresses in particular. Definitely big ups to her, and big ups to that couple who came through and really made her day. Definitely can afford a babysitter now and rent while we're at it. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. This is from the Mirror. Mom thinks she's seeing things as bright pink pigeon lands outside her window. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into that really quickly. Okay, a woman was left shocked after spotting a bright pink pigeon outside her mom's window in Lancashire last week. This was published 4 days ago on the Mirror. 37-year-old Kelly Lunny was at her mom's apartment, they say flat, mom's flat on Thursday last week before noticing the fluorescent creature land in the communal garden. Despite some skeptics believing people could have dyed the bird, Kelly believes it could be a Nessanus Mary. I'm making a guess on how to pronounce that. There's way too many vowels in there. Nesoenas. Nessanus, Mayeri. This is, here we go. Let me blow this up for y'all. Nessanus Mayeri, pink pigeon, which is native to Mauritius. Okay. There are only around 500 of the birds left in the world, and traditionally they have a peachy-colored breast and back, a rust-colored tail, and a dark pink beak. The incredible bright pink bird was part of a flock that had flown down to peck at the soil, which is when Kelly noticed it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, that pink thing right there, that is a bird. And here are some other birds nearby, I guess, right here. And on the bottom of your screen there for comparison. Yeah, that big pink thing is a bird. Man, that would catch me off guard too, I gotta say. Let's see. Left in a state of bewilderment, she feared she was seeing things before getting her mom to confirm she was also able to see the pink pigeon in the garden. Am I being gaslit by nature itself right now? This can't be real, like that sort of thing. Once her mom confirmed she could also see it, Kelly took her phone out and began to capture footage of the incredible bird in flight. Absolutely. If you don't get it on camera, it didn't happen. That's the moral of the story. Speaking about what she saw, Kelly said, quote, "I thought I was seeing things at first, or it was just something weird, but then I got my mom off her bed as well, just to make sure," end quote. And there was a better picture there. Yep, that's, man. Pink bird. I guess that's basically all that we can say about that. That's clear as day. Pretty in pink. Ha ha ha, I guess. Unless, of course, it's one of those situations like the ladybug from A Bug's Life, where it's like the animal is actually offended at being thought of as being the opposite gender. I mean, come on, it's 2022. Let's be progressive and, respect this bird and, how the bird chooses to self-identify, that sort of thing. Let's move on. Let's move on. Next item on the docket. This is from the Mirror once again. Man shows pure disrespect by proposing to his girlfriend at her dad's funeral. Ooh, timing. Ooh, ouch. Man. A man has sparked outrage after proposing to his girlfriend at her dad's funeral as he popped the question as she wiped away her tears. A guest at the funeral whipped out their phone when they realized what was happening and shared a clip of the ill-timed romantic move on TikTok. The man, who was also the pastor at the service in South Africa, decided to seize the moment, and with the microphone in hand, he gets down on both knees and pulls out a ring. Both knees? I thought it was just one. The bizarre proposal is interrupted constantly by feedback from the microphone, and it's impossible to hear what the man is saying. And soon people took to the comments on TikTok to blast this terrible timing. Wow. Well, judging by this picture here on the right, I guess she accepted. I guess. Good grief. Okay. Well, soon people flocked to the comments to condemn the man for his actions. One user said, "Pure disrespect at all levels." Then another wrote, "This year is wrong, no matter how you can try and justify it." Yeah, thank you. Jeez, like, can we mourn this poor woman's father? Jeez. And the third added, "Timing is off." "Why here?" asked another viewer, meaning always when you see that ring, you'll remember your dad. Not at a funeral. I'd say no. Let me respect my loved one first. Thank you. But not everyone thought the man was in the wrong, as some thought his heart was in the right place. And yet there's no comments are being given here in support of the fiance. what I don't know. What do y'all think? Those of you who are watching this right now, what do y'all think? Is this poor timing? Proposing to someone at a funeral? Is this something that you would stand for? Is this something that that you wouldn't mind or would appreciate as intended? Or is this just pure poor timing all around? Drop us a comment. What do you think about that? Let's move on. Let's see. It's coming up on 6:40 right now on the East Coast. I think we have a few more to go, and then we'll go ahead and shut this thing down for the week. Here we go. Come on, load. Load faster, darn it. All righty, there we go. Next topic. This is from the Mirror again. Scientists secretly making hybrid human monkeys to be super soldiers. What? Okay. I guess Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson about to get some competition here. Let's see. Secret laboratory projects to breed oh no, don't let this trend. Human Z, like chimpanzee, human Z. Man-ape super soldiers have been ongoing for years, it is claimed. The odd projects are aimed to create hybrid animals that have underdeveloped brains but immense strength, along with being resilient and resistant to hunger. Underdeveloped brains but immense strength. Okay. According to the Daily Star, news of a mysterious hybrid monkey, which has DNA from 2 different species, shook the science world last week. The creature, which appears to be combined from 2 different species, was seen in Malaysian Borneo near the Kinabatangan River. A new study suggested that the hybrid creature is competing for forest space. Yeah, of course, deforestation happening all over the place. However, a decade ago, a more unusual breeding project was attempted. Plans were in place to try to create a creature that was a mix between humans and other animals to supplement the armed forces, along with making a factory for transplant organs. Ooh, okay. This is now a humane ethics sort of conversation now. Joseph Stalin ordered Soviet scientists in Russia to create a hybrid ape-man super soldier in the 1920s. He wanted the creature to be able to work under extreme conditions that would be deemed too dangerous for humans. Oh yeah, expendable workforce. Documents that were declassified in the 1990s appear to show that Kremlin chiefs were trying to make an unbeatable army of man-apes. They wanted hybrids to have immense strength with an underdeveloped. Okay, this is recapping now. Goodness, this is crazy. We have a comment on YouTube: spooky monkey men, and then a bunch of crazy emojis there at the bottom. I mean, this is disturbing. This is disturbing and disgusting to me. Like just as a human being, you know, like the idea of this level of genetic experimentation, let alone with this intention in mind, you know, I can't bring myself to seriously like consider this a thing. Like this feels like one of those conspiracy theories that like there's a logical sort of explanation for it, but one element of it gets leaked out to the press and it gets blown out of proportion and extrapolated to this extreme degree. I'm not even going to comment on the record as to whether or not like there's any credence to this, as to whether I think there's any real serious credence to this. But like I just, man, what do y'all think? Is there something to this? Is this something that y'all are surprised by? Are these experiments that are necessary under the auspices of improving the story was talking about an increased workforce or increased soldier capacity, population capacity, or generating organs for transplant patients. I mean, there's a lot of potential for saving lives there, in theory, but I can't think about this much more seriously than that. Here we are. Here's a comment from YouTube. No wonder we haven't cured the deadly diseases that still plague us. The time and money needed have been going to making Franken monkeys. That's a pretty pronounced way to put that, actually. Franken monkeys. There you go. That's probably a better word to phrase this than human Z. But anyway, what else do y'all think? Drop us a comment in the either in the comment feed below or in the chat feed if you're here watching live. Let's move on. We've already covered the snakes. I think we're coming down to the end of it here. Let's take a look. Last two topics here. This is from the Mirror again. Woman with split tongue says she could taste Pepsi and Coca-Cola simultaneously. That's crazy. I can't even imagine that. Hang on a second. Here we are. A woman with a passion for body modification has opened up about her intriguing talent for tasting two different things at the exact same time, all thanks to her split tongue. Dreadlock artist Brianna Mary Sheedy? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Recently left people mesmerized after tasting two soft drinks at once, placing half her tongue in each glass. Whether you prefer Pepsi or Coca-Cola, few will have the sort of insight into which taste is actually better than Brianna. After taking to TikTok with a video taken of the stunt, Brianna, who lives in Southern California, has managed to clock up 293,000 views, leaving followers fizzling with excitement. Wow. Yep, you can totally see. Yep, that's totally split right there, filled up to the brim. And yep, you can see it underneath the refraction of the liquid. Those are oddly clear liquids, unless I guess those are variants of Coke and Pepsi respectively that are clear, I guess, or maybe she's using versions of each respective soda that are sort of designed to be separate products that are clear, like how I think it's Sprite is a derivative of Coke, and Sierra Mist is a derivative of Pepsi. I may have that backwards, but like that may be another way to tell, so that this can happen where you can actually see straight through the glass because the liquids are clear. Let's see. Taking a few moments to consider her view on the Pepsi versus Coca-Cola debate, Brianna, perhaps controversially, confirmed that she couldn't taste the difference. Let's see. Brianna also conducted a salty versus sweet taste test, dividing her unique tongue between one glass of sugar water and another containing salt water. Reflecting on this particular dizzying combo, Brianna remarked that her brain was left feeling rather confused. Wow. Yeah, that's just this image right here of what looks like having two separate tongues. That's crazy. But yeah, I can imagine like this is really kind of disorienting and paradoxical in nature. I mean, I've had both Pepsi and Coca-Cola. I mean, I'm sure like basically everybody watching this or listening to this podcast has as well. I'm going to try to remain agnostic on that particular conversation in the interest of maintaining sponsorship agreements later in terms of potentiality. Not going to go ahead and claim a camp in one side or another, but those of you at home who are commenting or able to comment, which do you prefer, Coke or Pepsi? Drop us a comment and let us know what you think. But yeah, that's bizarre. That's a bizarre stunt right there. Let's go ahead and move on to one more, and we'll go ahead and shut this down. We're coming up on the top of the hour. We just hit 6:45 on the East Coast. Let's see. We have one more topic to go, and then I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down for us tonight. Here we are. So this is, again, from the Mirror. Really compelling Bigfoot. Oh, we're going to close out on Bigfoot. All right. Really compelling Bigfoot snaps show mystery humanoid lurking in the woods. I think we actually covered something Bigfoot adjacent several weeks ago. Let's take a closer look at this one. This may be something different. Oh no, I'm remembering the Loch Ness monster. Like a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago during Weird News, we covered somebody who had claimed that they had generated footage of the Loch Ness monster underwater, and was a big shadowy sort of thing that you could see underneath the water, but you had to really pay attention to it closely. I guess we're supposed to imagine that this is, I guess, Harry on his way back to rendezvous with the Hendersons. Let's look at this a little bit closer here. Bigfoot watchers were thrown into a frenzy after what has been described as a compelling new sighting of the mythical beast. The photograph appeared to show a mysterious humanoid making its way through woodland. It was reportedly taken in the state of New York, according to one Reddit user, and it quickly sparked heated debate among conspiracy theorists after it was posted online. The large hairy creature can be seen at a distance walking on two legs, bipedal, past some short bushes with pine trees behind it. Yep, that's the image that people commonly sort of think of when you name drop Bigfoot. It's usually some sort of version of this image right here, pretty much. This iconic frame 352 still of the Patterson-Gimlin film, which allegedly depicts a female Bigfoot looking back at Roger Pattinson and Bob Gimlin. Yep, the missing link. The left side of its face is visible as it walks, and members of the online message board were split over the authenticity of the snaps. Some believed it could be the real thing, while others were less convinced. One user appeared to be convinced by the snaps and said, quote, "We need the story behind these photos, but they are really, really compelling," end quote. Okay, let's go back here, and here we are. Okay, so I'm not going to go ahead and dig through the original Reddit thread to go ahead and pull that up. That's going to be way too much time. But those of you who are able to access the comments feed down below, I've posted this link in the not the comments, excuse me, the description down below, so you can take a look at this for yourself and any relevant links. I mean, on the surface, you can see how that can look like Bigfoot, or something that's Bigfoot adjacent, you know, upright bipedal creature trudging through the forest. I don't know. I'm still of the attitude that Bigfoot is not real. This is where I personally am on this. You're gonna have to do more than show me a picture, you know, of what looks like Bigfoot, especially when we live in the age of deep fakes that are disturbingly realistic in terms of how they're produced and packaged and presented, as Kendrick Lamar proved yet again last week. Those of you who saw the Heart Part 5 video that he dropped last Sunday, which, by the way, is a great segue if you haven't already seen it. We've actually dropped 2 reaction commentary videos to Kendrick's video, one with Raina by herself and another with Raina and Kiara and a special guest as well. We just dropped that last night. If you haven't seen them yet, you should definitely check those out elsewhere on this channel. They were a lot of fun to record, and they were really interesting conversations as well. But anyway, also while I'm at it, shout out to Veri Divine and her channel as well. We posted a link to her content as well in that description. But anyway, back to this. Yeah, this is to me, this just looks like a guy in a suit. This just looks staged to me. I don't really believe in Bigfoot, but I do believe that, you know, there is I mean, anything's possible in terms of the animal kingdom and, you know, how humanity sort of came about. I'm going to try to sort of like curb my thoughts any further past that point. Again, as viewers of this channel well know, we tried very hard to avoid what can be construed as political arguments in one direction or another on what can be considered hot button conversation topics. Among them, evolution can be considered one. But yeah, this kind of looks fake to me, just on the surface, personally. But anyway, what about you guys at home? What do you think? Is there credence to that image, or do you believe in Bigfoot? I don't know. Let us know. But anyway, that's basically about it for now. We've basically come to about the end of our show here with the assortment of topics that we've got set up for Weird News this week. Thanks so much to those of you who have tuned in with us in the long haul. Whoops, sorry. Darn it. There we are. Anyway, so like I was saying, we're now at the end of the Weird News show right now. Thank you for tuning in with us. What was your favorite topic tonight? Honestly, I think, geez, this is a difficult one. I gotta say, like, it's a toss up between the chainsaw with the chin guy and the passengers land a plane thing. Like, it's a toss up there, honestly. Probably the passengers landing the plane, because that was far less optional to have happen, and it could have ended far, far worse, really easily is what I'll say. That was a really inelegant way to phrase that, but you know what I'm saying. I think the fact that the passengers landed the airplane safely, that's my favorite story of the week, I gotta say, between all the ones that we covered tonight. What was your favorite tonight? Drop a comment down below to continue the conversation. And don't forget to visit any of our social pages. We're at Weekend Showcase pretty much everywhere. And we will see you right here on this same channel this coming Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific for yet another new trailer reaction show. And I hope to see you there then. For now, be safe, and I hope you had a good weekend, and showcase you later. Good night. Thanks for watching.